There we go. Good. Hello, Baxter. There we go. How's it going? Hope all's well. Just going to wait here for a little bit before just to let a few other people in. I know Katrina's coming. Iris said she was coming too, so let's just wait a little bit longer for them. And if they take a little bit too long, we'll just get started. I can't help it. That's the German in me. Germans are kind of known for their punctuality. And Mary's here. Oh, good. Hi, Mary. I'm just going to give it another minute and then we'll get started here. Hope you guys had a good week. Mine was pretty busy, I can say that. And I guess maybe without further ado, let's just get rolling. So, looks like there, that's probably a little bit better. Okay. So, yeah, I had a very busy week this past week. It went really well. And I hope you guys had a good week too. So, let's see. Do you guys have any questions just starting out? I'm just going to wait for a couple of seconds and if you guys have any questions, we can just field them first. Otherwise, I'll launch into what we were covering today, which is talking to people about your business and closing as well. Don't have a, I'm jumping the gun. We'll get into that in a little bit. So, oh, good. Today I am awesome. Yay, Baxter. That's great. That's super. I hope you had a really good day. Well, and of course, I hope Mary had a good day and everybody else too. Iris just texted me. She said she's having a little bit of trouble with her computer. I know just what that's like after, was it last week or the week before? I think it was last week. Yeah, we had to start, was it 3 times, 4 times? It felt like about 18 tries before we finally got the thing rolling. Anyway, you know, computers are supposed to make our lives easier. I'm not really sure that's working, but Oh well, we're stuck with them, right? So sometimes it's nice though, so we can get together, say like right now, where we're all over the place and we can still hang out together. So it's one of the advantages. It's great when it works, not too much fun when it doesn't. But anyway, all right. So if there are no further questions, not that we had one to begin with, then we can get going. So let me share my screen. Katrina will show up at some point. And let's see. Okay, here we go. Alrighty, so believe it or not, we are on week 9. I cannot believe it that where did the time go? In one sense, it seems like it's gone so fast. In the other sense, it seems like this has been going on forever. I don't know if that's good or bad, but anyway. And oh, good for you, Mary. So you're actually doing a lot of work offline. All right, very good. So last week we did our refine, review, and refocus. Mary, I'm so sorry that we weren't able to get a recording for you. That was a bummer. We covered a lot of, like, Baxter had a lot of questions about Facebook advertising. And so just throwing it out there so that if you, maybe Baxter would be a good go-to. I wasn't really feeling all that well last week. Just so you know, I have Lyme disease, and it was really throwing me for a loop last Monday. Thankfully, I'm feeling so much better today. So anyway, so I was kind of, I just asked Katrina to mainly take it over last week for me, and she was gracious enough to do so. So Mary, probably Baxter would be a good go-to if you have questions about Facebook stuff and what he was doing, or Katrina as well, of course. This week, we're going to be talking about presenting your offer and closing. So whether you have an offline business, you have an online business, you have a brick and mortar business, or you have a network marketing business, and by the way, in our group, somebody is represented in each of these types of businesses: offline, online, brick and mortar, and network marketing. We've got somebody in excuse me, we've got somebody in at least one of these categories each. So it doesn't matter what kind of a company or a business that you have, you need to learn how to effectively present your offer and close. So it's going to be a little bit different if you're offline. It's going to be a little bit different if you're online, but the general principles are the same. And the thing is, you want to know the general principles without being pushy. And as you've probably figured out by now, that's a hot button of mine. Don't like pushiness. And so you're going to get more business if you're not pushy, of course. There are 4 points that I wanted to bring out today. 4 really big ones. Of course, you could probably spend all day going over important points about just presenting your offer alone, because that's what the 4 points are, is about presenting. But really, these 4 points kind of boil it down to everything. So the very first thing is keep your offer involved. And what I mean by involved is that what you want to do is keep it, you want to draw people into it. So successful business people all know that the more senses you use, the better your presentations go. So if you can incorporate as many of the 5 senses as you can when you're presenting your offer, it's gonna go better. So some presentations are based only on hearing. So think about your own presentation when you're talking to people, and say Baxter, for example, even though you have an online business, maybe offline you might be talking to some people about what you're doing online, case in point. So even this would apply. Hey, what am I doing? Baxter, what are you doing on the side? Case in point, you can tell them what they're doing on the side. So the more senses you use, the better your presentations go. So and this can be easy to incorporate, hearing, taste, touch, seeing, and smelling. And don't forget imagination as well. That can also count. But really, let's focus on the five senses. Some businesses make it really easy to use more than one sense. Other businesses, it takes some creativity. In my own business, I have to take a little bit of creativity to go along. I have a coaching business, obviously, in case you couldn't tell. And I'm also involved in a network marketing business too. In both of those, it can be a little tricky. So that's where the creativity comes into play. I can't give you specific examples per se, but because each person is a little different. And I just want to point out that all businesses have disadvantages. There is not a single business out there that has zero disadvantages. Oh, good, Iris got on. So, all right, I'm going to repeat that. There is no business out there that is free of disadvantages. So it's like, oh, gee, if I was in this other business, everything would be easy. Nope, not necessarily the case. So this leads nicely into our next point. Okay, so I can't really fully explain point one without also going into point two because they're so closely tied together. So you want to have a lot of involvement with the senses. Also, at the same time, get a bazillion tiny little yeses. This is a really big point. You can get a bazillion yeses by asking questions. And if things are going well, you can throw out questions. We covered some of these in our questions week too, but you can throw out questions like, wouldn't you agree that this is important, whatever this is? And don't ask that kind of a question unless you know you're going to get the yes. But them hearing the yes from their own mouths is going to help out. So you can work in questions that they will most likely say yes to. Wouldn't you believe it's important to look after our own health, for example? Well, yes. And some people could care less, but if you're speaking to somebody who cares about their health, then that yes is going to boost your likability with them. It's going to open their ears a bit more. Also, every time you hand somebody something, okay, now think about this. Every time you hand somebody something, so now you're just using touch and you're using vision, right? So every time you so if you hand somebody a bottle or a photo album or a can of something, when you hand somebody something, or online, every time someone takes an action, such as liking something, sharing something, or clicking on a link, these are all unconscious yeses. Okay, let me just pause a moment here. I just want to read some of these comments and catch up. All right. All right. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure I wasn't missing any questions or anything like that. All right, sorry. So each time we're handing something to someone and they accept it, they've said a tiny little yes. Yes, I'm going to take this. Yes, I'm going to open this. Yes, I'm going to turn this page. Yes, I'm going to listen to this. Yes, I'm going to smell this. This is just an example of a bazillion little yeses. And these are all incorporated. These ones that I'm giving you examples of are all incorporated into the senses. So yes, I'll take this. I'll click on this. I'll smell this. I'll drink this. Let's not have people smoking anything, etc. So this is a pro sales tip. This is what the experts do. Hang on just a minute. I just got a text from Katrina. Let me just respond really quick. There we go. Okay. So these are what pro salespeople do. They get all these tiny little yeses, as many as they possibly can. You've got to sit down and think a little bit about these, but it's really time well spent. Pro salespeople can get many tiny yeses. They get as many as they can. Your acceptance rate increases even if you mess everything else up. If you get people with all these subconscious yeses and verbal yeses, your acceptance rate is going to go up. They're going to be saying, if they're saying yes to the little things, they're going to be saying yes to, do you want to join? Do you want to purchase? Do you want to whatever? So be creative about how you get those tiny yeses. It can be fun. It can be a challenge. Gee, how can I do this? How can I integrate it, etc. And I will say, if you're struggling, bring it to our Facebook group. Bring it to the group and throw out the question. Give us some details about your business, and if you're struggling, let's help each other. Let's generate some creative ideas. All right. So we can all help each other. If anybody has a question, I'll just say, I'm stuck. I don't know how to do this. Can you guys offer suggestions? Yeah, we'll all chip in and help out. Another key point. This is key point number 3. No Frankenwords. What do I mean by Frankenwords? All right. Each business has its own vocabulary. As you probably have figured out, especially if you've studied a foreign language or English is your foreign language, you'll very rapidly realize each activity has its own vocabulary. Runners have a different vocabulary. There's running shoes and laces and jogging and being winded and stitches in your side. Whereas working as a chemist, chemistry has their own vocabulary, etc. So do each of our businesses. Each of our businesses have their own vocabulary. Okay, hang on. Katrina can't get in. So here we go. Just a minute. I'm going to have to help her out. Just a minute. Oh, shoot. Let's see. Hang on. And there we go. Okay, hopefully that will help to get Katrina in. If not, we might have to pause this again. Okay, whoops, what did I just do? Whoops, that's not the thing either.
Well, isn't that weird?
Oh, hello. Hello.
Hello.
Whoops, I must have somehow. Okay.
Strange things are going on. It wasn't you, it was me.
Okay. No problem. Alrighty. Well, I'm glad you're on. Why is this going back and forth? That's really strange. Okay, it settled down, whatever happened. Okay. So every business has its own vocabulary, and it's easy for us to take these terms for granted because we hear them all the time. But your audience hasn't heard these terms all the time. So be accessible. Be someone that makes sense to them. Don't give them the big gobbledygook, the scientific words, the technical jargon. Your audience doesn't understand what that technical jargon is, and it can put a nice wall of separation between you and them. So here are some of the specific and scientific and industry specific words that I've heard plenty. Here's just a list. Volatility. Not everybody necessarily knows what volatility is. Lunacin. There was some insurance term that I'd never heard of before, so I couldn't repeat it. But I was helping one insurance agent once in a group that I was teaching, and she threw out some insurance term, and I was like, I don't even know what that means. So, and then there are other technical terms like squeeze pages, lead magnets. What are those? Now, if you're in online marketing, that's easy. All right, I get that. Epigenetics. If you say the word epigenetics, most people go, huh? Or ROI, return on investment. Most people that we're working with, say online, would understand what ROI is, maybe, but not everybody else. Bean counters use that, and business people use that. So Find simple ways to explain your industry's specific terms. So instead of a lead magnet, if you're talking to someone else, talk about a freebie. Everybody gets what a freebie is. If you're talking to someone who's involved in internet marketing, then cool, they'll all get what lead magnet is. You might confuse them if you say freebie. But when you're talking to the average person, drop all the technical jargon. Also, all right, key point number 4 for presenting. Keep it short and sweet. A lot of people that I know that have presentations are really long. They're an hour or more. And I don't know about you, I don't really like sitting in presentations, especially ones where I know I'm expected to spend at the end of it, and they're that long, especially if they're boring, like long and boring, and I'm just sitting there listening to people talk. That's no fun. If you're up and you're doing things, it's kind of a different story. But if you're just sitting there, it's just really not an enjoyable way to spend an evening or just an hour at all. So keep them brief. Keep your presentations around 15 minutes, 20 tops, but keep them on the short side. Besides, if it takes you an hour to say everything, that's way too much information. Nobody's going to absorb it anyway. If you notice, if you go on TED, I think it's TED.com, you go listen to the TED Talks. How long are the TED Talks? 20 minutes max, I think. So if that's one of the biggest teaching spots online, take a cue from it. Don't have long-winded presentations. This can be for if you have a brick and mortar business. This could be if you have a network marketing business. I would say the only time that you would have an exception to this is real simple. If you want to, if you want to have a good ratio between how long your presentation is and how much you're going to be asking for whatever it is, dollar-wise. So if something doesn't cost all that much, you really don't need more than about 15-20 minutes. If you're asking somebody to invest $5,000, $10,000, yeah, you can go longer if they're really that interested, because you're going to have to go longer to build their trust. But as a general rule of thumb, keep them brief, keep your presentations short. What that's going to do for you is, first of all, you're going to have to be very organized. So you're going to have to rethink your presentation, and that's probably a good thing. So you're going to have to figure it out, and you're also going to have to figure out, what are the most important things I want to convey? What are the strongest points that I can bring forward? Really, it's only going to improve what you're presenting. It's only going to improve. So, and remember, keep your presentations engaging. Remember what we were just talking about with using the senses, and as many senses as you can. Challenge yourselves to draw in 3 or 4 senses while you're doing your presenting of whatever it is. And if you can, pass things around. Again, be creative. So, if you're in a travel agency and you're talking to people, it might be a little difficult to pass stuff around, but if you think, what are you going to do? Pass around plane tickets? But you can pass around souvenirs, for example. Be creative. Pass stuff around. And by the way, if you are passing things around, and if this is one way that you want to choose, if this is one thing you want to use in your presentations, and you want to pass stuff around, don't ask them if they want to see it. Here, would you like to take a look at this? Because people are generally wired to automatically say no. So here, would you like to look at this? No, I can see it fine. No, thanks. All you do is you have a bottle of snake oil, and you pass it, for example, and you pass it over to someone, and you go, here, and they'll take it. It's kind of automatic. So that's all. Just pass it over and say, here. And trust me, they'll take it. If they don't take it, you got bigger problems. Okay, closing. So if you've set up your presentation this way, if you've utilized as many senses as you can, if you've been asking questions, if you've kept your presentation short and to the point, then your closing is going to be so much easier. It's going to be so much easier. You're building in a lot of those little yeses, and you also worked your offer such that you're getting a lot of verbal yeses too. This is going to be so much easier. There's a whole huge skill set when it comes to closing. And if you guys want to go into more detail about closing, just let me know. Post something on the Facebook group and we can cover that next week. But what I'm going to do is I just have kind of a simple boilerplate one that I wanted to go over now. This is pretty flexible. It's pretty easy to use. So I figured this would be a good way just so that you can walk away and have one way of closing. So one way to do is to ask on a scale of 1 to 10, where does your interest lay? Again, we're using questions. I like using lots of questions. So where does your interest lay? And if they rate it less than an 8, then just simply ask them, what would it take to bring that number up to an 8 or 9? Okay, just real simple question. They're now thinking and they're answering that question themselves. So if, and let me just back up here. So if you ask them what would it take to raise that number to an 8 or 9, and they tell you, oh, my concern is over price, my concern is over location, my concern is over whatever, well, now you know what you're dealing with. Now they've just told you what it's going to take to overcome that concern or that question or objection. If that number is an 8 or higher, then you could just respond something like, well, then it sounds like you're ready to go. With some people, that's all that's required. With other people, they need a little more time, and that's perfectly fine. If people have questions or concerns, address them right on the spot. Just deal with them right there. And I don't think I've said this enough. Remember to use questions. They come in really handy at the close too. So if you want to know more about closing, I recommend this book, How to Master the Art of Selling. I'm pretty sure I've recommended this before, but I'm going to recommend it again. Tom Hopkins is a realtor, and he wrote a book on how to master the art of selling, in case you couldn't tell. And it's for any business that is selling offline. And I think it's outstanding. It's really good stuff. He goes deep into questioning, and he goes a lot into closing as well. So if this is something that you really want to hone, go ahead and get that book. So this wraps up our presenting offer and our closing. So this week's homework assignment is the same as last week and the week before. So this is going to be spend an additional hour of focused, intense effort on your business, and try and do it daily. All right. So what I have here is the usual questions. I like to save these for the end, but meanwhile, does anybody have any questions, any comments, anything you'd like to say? I'd like to say goodbye to Iris. I'm glad you could make it for a little bit. Right.
Good night, Mary.
Oh, goodness.
Mary's got a couple hours of sleep, and being an interpreter, that's definitely a tough one to crack your eye open on.
When I did interpreting, I had to sleep 10 hours a day.
Mm.
It just left me exhausted. So,
cool.
Katrina, you unfortunately were only able to come in halfway through, but do you have any comments?
No, you know what? Closing is one of the most important skills you can learn. Because you have to be willing to make the offer and close a person. And I know that sounds really bad, closing somebody into something, but you have to be able to just help them get registered, right? Take the credit card, take the number, whatever it is. Like, it happens every day to us, right? We've just kind of taken out the middle person. But if you go to put gas in your car, right? You go up to a machine and it asks for your credit card. You slide the credit card in, right? So there's a question that's being asked even unknowingly to you, right? And you've accepted it because you pulled out your credit card and you dropped it in there, and voila. So it's really kind of important to understand that you have to ask questions, because questions are what's going to make people feel at ease in joining you. And the more questions you ask, especially in the beginning, when you ask them, why are you sitting down with me? Why are you, why have you decided, why did you agree to come and have lunch with me? Right? I mean, even just that starting point can really be a good place to start just getting people into your business. And I love the fact, Ruth Ann, that you pointed it out, that an hour long may be way too much information.
Those things drive me nuts.
It's
I'm gone after. I've actually started paying attention when I sit through those things, and I start looking at my watch, and I notice I really start generally zoning out at about the 20-minute mark.
Yeah. Because your attention, if it doesn't intrigue you enough, then you're not going to hang around. And I think one of the best parts, especially what I've learned through Landmark, is that, people just get up and they just start sharing stories and asking questions. And then in through that one, most people will get their questions answered and will sign up. It doesn't even have to be the presentation. They just want a couple of questions answered. It's crazy.
Let's not kill them with information.
Right? This is not your chance to beat them over the head with information. It's the opportunity just to find out where they're at and why they're sitting down with you. And if it's no other reason than just because they're a good friend, then cool. Like, they're a good friend.
Keep it that way.
Yeah, keep it that way. So, but yeah, that I definitely have to say that handling objections is nothing more than just, okay. What, everybody's leaving? Baxter's leaving? Mary's leaving?
Oh dear.
Dears. Everyone's saying good night.
Good night.
And they did have some good conversation along the side. They were talking about books and what they were doing and good products and how people recruited people from other network marketing companies to buy products. It's beautiful.
Oh man. Maybe our presentation went on too long, huh?
Possibly 30 minutes. Then I came in like 15 minutes into it, so I'm totally messed up now. So I will mention this because I think Mary made a really good point. So if she catches the recording, she catches this part here.
Right.
I love the fact that she said, I went to another networking event and I actually signed up 2 people. See, the interesting thing you got to remember is that network marketers may love their company, but it's only one product, right? So if you're a network marketer, you may need, a makeup or a gas additive or insurance or a vacation or whatever it is. And the beauty about it is that the network marketing industry provides you with an opportunity to connect with people that can help you and that really want to serve you in getting that product and service. And I love the fact that you can be in market to other network marketers. There's nothing in the rule books that says you can't. There's nothing. I've read it.
Yeah, and if nobody has that book, I'm sure that Katrina would be happy to pass that rule book on.
I'm telling you. The only point is usually if you get like really high in a company, do they have a problem with you being in multiple, right? Typically it's like, pick your company. Okay. That kind of a thing. And if that's where you want to go, that's where you go. But for the most part, you can buy products from other network marketers. You can buy services. You can buy whatever. It's like there's no restrictions on helping other people and basically helping the economy at that level, the grassroots level, to stay in business. Like, I absolutely think that's probably the best thing for us. That's my 2 cents.
Yeah, I mean, since just because somebody's in something else doesn't mean they're not going to want yours too.
Yeah.
You can the thing about, go ahead.
You can be a customer. There's nothing wrong with being a customer.
Yep. Well, generally speaking, network marketing companies have some of the highest quality stuff that's out there. The reason why they're network marketing is because the quality is so high, and if these products, if these same products were put on shelves, the cost would go up so much that they'd have to cut the quality in order to even make a sale.
Yeah.
So this way, these companies can put quality first.
Mm-hmm.
So generally speaking, I find that that's really where you get your money's worth.
Yeah.
So I like supporting other network marketers.
Yeah, and you're taking care of other people with families. Like, it's a coolest thing ever.
Yeah, I'd call that a win-win.
Yeah.
We like those.
I do. I love win-wins.
Alrighty. So, is anybody left? Live? Wait.
Yes, you and I are the only people.
All right. Hang on. Yep. All right. Well, so then I want to ask what people got done and what they're planning on next week. I'll just post that on Facebook.
Yeah. Because it looks like everybody has said goodnight.
Yeah. I think that's it. All right. Well, I get it. My day was awfully busy. I left a networking event early just to get here.
Woohoo! Yeah. I was running late. I was like, I'm getting back from TJ's house. I'm like, which reminds me also, I left you a text message on this one, but on the 16th, which I believe we are still going strong.
Yes.
It will not be on the
6th of June. Yeah, I got that. I was somewhere when it came, so I wasn't able to respond. But that's fine. Thanks for letting me know. I'll be in Minnesota. The computer's coming with me, so I'll give the 90-day Blitz spiel from my dad's house.
Well, I was planning to do it, but that is a day with the EMP guys, and I don't know what they're planning, so I just don't know where I'm going to be at, and I don't want to make a promise where there's a good chance where I don't know if I'll have my computer or what we will be doing.
Got it. Okay. Well, I will definitely be there.
Okay, cool.
So if I see you, I see you, and if I don't, I'll catch you the following week.
Okay. Excellent. Yep, perfect.
Sweet.
Cool.
Very good.
5 Mondays this month. Woohoo.
Oh. Does that mean there's 5 Sundays this month too?
Mm-hmm.
Is that a blue moon?
I don't know. It doesn't say on my calendar, but there's 5 Sundays this month.
I'll have to look that up. That might be a blue moon. I know it's 5 somethings in a month. Might be 5 Sundays. I'll look it up. I'll let you know because I like weird things like that.
Yeah, me too. Like, I found out that the Ringling Brothers Barman and Bailey Circus have an elephant preserve here right down the street from me.
Wow.
I was like, that's where they keep their elephants, is here in Florida. And I was like,
makes sense.
Yeah, because that's where I'd put elephants, is on a preserve that I have land in Florida. How did I not know this? Like, that's awesome. So, yeah. Random facts of information.
They used to hang out in a house north of here about 30 minutes.
Wow.
The house is now turned into an old people's home.
Interesting.
Very. Yes.
All right.
All righty. So do you want to just leave? Do you just want to mention what you did this past week, what you're planning on in Facebook?
So,
or you want to do it now?
So last week for me, actually, I'm just going to tap it into here. So last week for me, after we had our conversation, I actually sat down with 3 business owners. So I brought on a real estate agent, not a real estate agent, a real estate investor. So someone that actually flips homes.
Wow.
So I'm working with her to kind of create an awareness about what she does, because I think there's a lot of negativity around the real estate investor or the flipper and kind of what they do.
Oh.
In terms of
a service.
In terms of some of the unconventional methods of buying houses from these people, and everything that it's all for the money, but I really like what she wants to do. She wants to connect people to homes. So I kind of like that. Yeah. And then I am working officially with a princess lady now. So
nice.
We are building princess parties out here in Orlando.
Cool.
So, but yeah, and then I have another connection I was given to yesterday. So we'll see what happens there. Oh, and my brother, Paul, recruited me for his nonprofit business. So That's going to be fun. So that one is Vets 3 Guns. It's for veterans who are, apparently, I did not know this, but there are 22 suicides a day from our vets.
Really?
22 vets on average commit suicide.
A day?
A day.
Oh, so what's your brother doing to help this out?
So for him, because I mean, I literally come home and my brother, every time I came home to visit my brother, he would get a phone call and say someone was MIA and they were on suicide watch, right? So someone had pretty much said, I'm not sure it's worth living anymore. And then all of a sudden just cut themselves off. So it was like this network of people he was trying to connect and find people to keep them from committing suicide, because it would just, I feel like you get a call every day about somebody in his team or somebody he knew that had committed suicide. So he's like, you know what it is? He's like, these guys don't feel like they have a community anymore, right? They're trained to go to war. They're trained to use a gun. There's an adrenaline rush behind being trained in combat. They're surrounded by their brothers. They're in a community at all times. And then when they become vets, when they get out of the military, there's nothing there for them, right? It's like what they've been trained to do is not legal in the United States.
Right.
Right? Because they've been trained to kill, right?
Yeah.
It's what they do. But they're also trained to be very efficient and handle guns and just do things like that. So my brother goes, what I'd like to do is there's something called a 3-gun competition. So it's where it's handgun, shotgun, and pistol, and they compete through this circuit throughout, for whatever. So he's like, I would love to get these vets to compete in these events and build community around that.
Right. Yeah, so because then they'd have rapport, they'd have a common bond. Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so one of his good friends that he works with that's part of this suffers from post-traumatic syndrome, PTS.
The post-traumatic stress thing.
Yeah. So PTS.
Yeah.
And it has a difficult time connecting with his wife and his kids. And he's just, it's hard for him.
Yeah.
And when he goes out and does 3-gun and then comes home, his anxiety is decreased. Like he's a totally different person because he's had a way to let off that buildup of stress or anxiety, whatever he's had.
Wow.
So after he shoots and he goes through that and the adrenaline kicks in and he kind of clears his mind, he can go back to his family and he can then be a father and he doesn't have the PTSD and he doesn't deal with a lot of that because he's got a way out now, right?
Wow.
So Paul's like, I want to put together a nonprofit where basically we can help these guys, we can buy the guns for them, we can buy the ammo, we can put it in the registration, and they can just come and have the opportunity to compete. And ultimately, Paul would like to create facilities around the United States where these vets could come in and have this safe community environment and actually practice and engage in these 3-gun competitions right there in their own, state and pretty close to home. So that's one of the ways he's trying to bring people back in.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
That's neat.
So super proud of him for what he's doing. He's like, it's not the guns. He's like, it's just for them. It's a mechanism of their training. And when that kicks in and they have the ability to compete against each other and other people, it fulfills that warrior need that we've built and trained into them. Because that's what they do in the military anyhow. They always compete against each other.
Huh. Okay. Neat.
So, yeah.
Wow.
It's really cool.
That is cool. I'm involved in a fundraiser right now.
For the dog with diabetes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So that's, sort of along the same lines. Let's help other people.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
I like it. I like it lots.
Yeah. $20 should be easy for people. Just talk to a lot of people and that shouldn't be that hard.
Yeah. Thank you for the friendly reminder. You tagged me on Facebook and I was like, oh yeah, I need to do that. So
yeah, let me know if you want me to put your name down. If not, that's fine. I get that. Yep. I get it. No pressure.
Yep. I get that too. So, but yeah, so that kind of came up this week. So my goal this week, honestly, is
that's where we were.
Yeah, getting through this week. I've got a lot of things on my plate with Elite Marketing Pro. So we're just getting this media piece rolled out. I'm leaving on Friday to go to San Diego. We've got no excuses the following week. So we're just kind of all trying to figure out the bits and pieces that need to get complete as we roll into next Wednesday's big event. So that's kind of what's on my plate. So it's not a huge amount. Like I don't have very big details on there, but I just know it's like getting everything I need together to get on a plane to get out there and make stuff happen.
Cool.
So yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah. I'm excited.
And sounds like you're keeping pretty busy.
Trying. So what about you?
Okay. Well, let's see. I only got one blog post up this past week, but I formed and registered an LLC. So I would count that as being pretty busy. And I already, by the time I formed the LLC, I already had appointments for it. So what I'm doing is I realized I was talking to a bean counter and connected some dots that, I think we were discussing this last Wednesday, that what's simple for me is revolutionary for other people. And with all my training that I've gotten with EMP and coaching here and there and web experience, the whole kit and caboodle, I actually have plenty of experience training and connections to work with small businesses and help them boost their presence online. So, and I'm getting crazy amounts of interest in that. So whether or not I'm referring people to EMP, I'm using all the skills that I've learned. I'm like, shoot, why don't I just teach other people how to do this? So anyway, so a new job is being launched. I have a copywriter that I'm going to use. We're going to collaborate together. And let's see, I'm going to be talking later this week to somebody who's very interested. That might be a nice big chunk of change. And I think I had, yeah, then there was a women's expo that I just got back from, and I've got 3 people interested. So
there you go.
Yeah.
Congratulations. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Yay.
Thanks. Yeah. So I don't know what this week is going to be. It's funny because I keep trying to help network marketers and small business owners keep falling into my lap. Like, all right, fine, I give up. I'm just going to, my heart is still for network marketers, but if small business owners keep coming to me, I'm not going to turn them away.
That's kind of the same situation I had. It's like, oh, I was talking to network marketers, you got to keep getting small businesses. I'm like, and there you go.
I guess that is pretty similar, isn't it?
And there you go. So we'll just make it that. That's fine. So yeah.
Yeah, it's all good.
Yep.
Yeah, and I also found out that only the government could figure this one out. The federal government's website shuts down over the weekend.
Yes.
If you're trying to register an LLC.
I know.
It shuts down over the weekend. Only your tax dollars at work.
I was like, really? You shut down the website between like 5 p.m. Friday and 9 a.m. on Monday. Really?
I couldn't believe it.
Like we can't accept applications. We can't have you apply for anything during this time. I was like,
you can't make this stuff up. You just can't make it up.
No, you really can't.
Oh my goodness. All right. Well, yeah, so that was my week. And so I have a bunch of calls I have to make tomorrow and emails to send off, appointments, etc.
There you go.
Lots is happening.
Good times we have it. It's cool.
Yes. All right. So I think that's it. I think you have something later this evening.
Something at 9 o'clock with Michelle Pescasita. We're going to be talking Facebook, so I'm excited about that one.
Ah.
Yeah.
I should try and sit in on that. I mean, I haven't been around for the rest of the day. I may as well keep it up. So, yeah. So what? I look at my emails for that one? Yeah, I'm getting a lot of Facebook questions, so I figure I should really bone up on Facebook.
Yeah, there's a lot of Facebook questions, so I'm going to ask her, and there's a lot of people asking me questions. So I was like, hey, there you go. They're going to have Michelle come on.
Okay.
Which is good, because then I have Michelle come on talking about Facebook, and then I have Kate McShay coming on talking about like video ads on Facebook. So it's going to be a nice like back-to-back Facebook-y week.
Sweet.
Well, between the 2 weekends or 2 Mondays. So today and the 9th.
Okay. Got it. Sweet. So I'll just follow the link that I get in my email, right? For that.
Yep. Or yeah. Otherwise, the other one you can do is go to.
We're gonna stop that broadcast.